Safety Manager. From Zero to Expert by Dmitry Borovoy. Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. Chapter 9. Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. Clearinghouse is the zone where beginners get sweaty palms. It sounds scary. There are a lot of buttons, a lot of English language terms, and any mistake smells like a fine. I'll walk you through it. After this chapter, you'll stop being afraid of Clearinghouse and start using it like a regular tool. Roughly, like email, because that's basically what it is. Email for drug tests. 9.1. What this beast is and why it exists. Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse is a federal FMCSA database that collects information on every failed drug test and every refusal to test among US CDL drivers. It's been live since January 6, 2020. The point is simple. A driver who fails a test at one company shouldn't be able to quietly slip over to another one and get behind the wheel. Before 2020, that happened all the time. How it used to work before Clearinghouse. Here's the classic scenario the industry watched for years. A driver works at Company A, fails a random. Company A lets him go. He writes a resume, leaves Company A off it entirely, and 2 weeks later he's hired at Company B. Company B is legally required to request data from previous employers. But if the previous employer isn't listed, there's nothing to request. The driver is back behind 80,000 pounds of steel. No rehab, no return to duty test. It ended in crashes, sometimes fatalities. In 2020, FMCSA closed the hole. Failures are now stored in a centralized database, and any employer can see them when hiring. The driver can't hide anymore. What goes into the database? Positive drug test. Positive alcohol test. BAC 0.04 or higher. Refusal to test. Refusal is treated as a failure. On-duty use witnessed by observation. Completion of a return-to-duty program. Follow-up test results. Who has to deal with Clearinghouse? Everyone with a US DOT/MC authority. Plus MROs, medical review officers, SAP specialists, TPAs, and the drivers themselves. Pause. What's running through your head right now? Company registration, driver registration, consents, limited query, full query, annual, pre-employment plan. I'm going to drown. Stop that thought. This entire structure boils down to 3 actions that you repeat for the rest of your career. 1. Once register the company. 2. With every new hire, run a pre-employment query. 3. Every January, run annual queries on everyone active. The rest is interface details. You learn the interface in 2 weeks. Let's go. 9.2. How it works at the logic level. Picture Clearinghouse as a locked archive. Inside, there's a folder on every CDL driver in the country. Most folders are empty. Some have records. To look inside a specific driver's folder, you need to have a company account in Clearinghouse. 2. Buy a query. 1 query equals 1 look inside. 3. Get the driver's consent. Without his electronic consent, the folder doesn't open. 4. Read what's in there. That's it. That's the whole mechanism. 2 types of query. Limited query. A quick scan. The database answers in 1 word. Records exist or no records. No details shown. Used for annual checks on existing drivers. If you get records exist, you've got 24 hours to follow up with a full query and find out what's actually there. Full query, the complete file, type of violation, date, rehab status. Required before hiring any new driver. What it costs? Queries are sold in bundles. Ballpark $1.25 each. A pack of 50 runs $62.50. For a 310 truck company, 20-30 queries a year covers everything with room to spare. 9.3. Registering the company in Clearinghouse. For owners, owner. If the company is new, you do this yourself. Not a dispatcher, not an accountant, not a friend with experience. Clearinghouse is one of the first steps after you get your MC authority. For staff safety managers, employed safety. The first thing you do at a new company is check. Is there a Clearinghouse account or not? If not, create one. If yes, take access over from the owner and switch it to current credentials. Your corporate email, your phone for 2FA. What you need before starting FMCSA portal account? An account on the main FMCSA portal. If you don't have one, register that first, then Clearinghouse. Pain point. The FMCSA portal sometimes requires PIN verification that's mailed to the company address via regular mail. That can take 1 to 2 weeks. Budget that time, don't leave it to the last minute. Step by step. 1. Clearinghouse.fmcsa.gov, register. 2. Roll employer with an FMCSA portal account. 3. Corporate email, not johnny1985@gmail.com. Set up safety@yourcompany.com, or at least compliance at. I'll explain why below. 4. Follow the link in the email, create a password, immediately save it in a password manager. 1Password, Bitwarden, whatever. A month from now, you won't remember it. 5. Authentication method, the second factor. Phone, SMS. Authentication app, Google Authenticator. Backup codes, 10 one-time codes. Take backup codes, print them, put them in a folder labeled Clearinghouse Access, forget about them. When they run out, generate a new set. This is the most reliable option, because it's not tied to a phone that can change or get lost. 6. Roll, employer. Confirm that the company operates under DOT drug and alcohol regulations. Yes. 7. FMCSA portal login, password. The system will pull your company info automatically. 8. Verify contact information and company information, US DOT, address, phone. 9. If you're the owner, check yes, I am an owner-operator. 10. Accept terms, done. A mistake I see constantly. Owner registers Clearinghouse on his personal Gmail. 6 months later, changes phones, loses email access, forgets the password. 6 months after that, an audit shows up. The company has no access to its federal portal. Recovering it through FMCSA means weeks of correspondence and notarized documents. The audit isn't going to wait. Corporate email from day 1. 10 minutes of setup, 0 problems down the road. 9.4. Registering the driver. By law, the driver registers in Clearinghouse himself. In practice, reality is different. Half the drivers don't know what Clearinghouse is. The other half know, but they sit at a computer once a year and get nervous at the word email. You as the safety do this with him. It's not you for him, it's you next to him. He clicks the buttons. Why this matters? Without an account, the driver can't give consent for your query. Without consent, the database won't show a result. Without a result, you have no right to put him in a truck. The chain breaks at the first link. Step by step. 1. Clearinghouse, register, create account. 2. Email, the driver's real email, one he actually has access to, not yours, not his wife's, not the dispatcher's. When the driver leaves for another company, the account stays with him, and he'll need to manage it. If you register it on your email, you've given him a CDL problem that will follow him for years. 3. Password, simple but reasonable. Write it on a slip of paper, hand it to the driver. 4. Authentication, backup codes, print them, hand the driver an envelope marked Clearinghouse, do not lose. 5. Roll, driver. 6. Personal data, full name, phone, address, zip. 7. CDL, country, state, number, date of birth. 8. The system cross-checks against the federal CDL database. If it matches, the account is live. 9. If you already created a pending query before registration, it's now sitting in his account. The driver clicks consent, yes, submit. A couple of minutes later, you have the result. 3 typical situations. Textbook case. Rookie, first company. You sit down together, 10 minutes of registration. Pre-employment query right away, consent right away. 2 minutes later, you see, no records found. You hire him. Normal reality. The driver worked at 2 or 3 places, has an account, but forgot the password back around 2022. You recover it via forgot password. During the process, you discover he has a forgotten pending query from a previous employer sitting there. You close it. You run your own query. Red flag. The driver refuses to give consent. By law, refusing consent is treated as prohibited status. He can't drive a CMV. The refusal is still going to surface for the company on the next query anyway. There's only one solution, either consent or you part ways. There's no middle ground, and there won't be. 9.5. Pre-employment query required before every hire. No exceptions. The driver doesn't touch a wheel until you have the result in hand. Not, I'll get it tomorrow, let him run in the meantime. No. Result first, truck second. In that exact order. The procedure: 1. Log in. Another backup code burned. 2. Conduct a query. 3. Driver's info. Full name, DOB, country, state, CDL number. 4. System verifies the driver exists. 5. Type, full query. For pre-employment, full only. Certify, conduct a query. 7. Request goes to the driver. Driver clicks consent yes. You get the result. What you'll see: no records found. Clean. Hire him. Doesn't cancel anything else. MVR, PSP, pre-employment drug test, still happen. Records found. Prohibited. Cannot hire. He's in prohibited status until return to duty is completed. Records found. Not prohibited. There were violations, but return to duty is done. Read the details. Weigh it. Decide for yourself. If it comes back prohibited. 3 options, in descending order of common sense. 1. Don't hire. The safest path. A person sitting in prohibited right now is a person who hasn't closed out rehab. You have no reason to step into that story. 2. Wait for return to duty completion. The driver goes to a SAP, completes the program, passes a return to duty test with a negative result. Clearinghouse status flips to not prohibited. Now you can take him. But remember, the next 1 to 5 years will have follow-up tests on the SAP schedule. That's administrative load on you. 3. Non-CDL position. Rarely relevant for a trucking company. 9.6. Annual query, once every 12 months on every active driver. This is a limited query. A quick, has anything new popped up this year? Check. When to do it? In a batch, in January. Put a reminder on your calendar. January 15th, annual clearinghouse queries, and once a year, you close the whole fleet in an hour. You can spread it out across each driver's hire date, but that's 5 times more work and 10 times more chances to forget someone. I always do a January volley. The procedure: 1. Log in. 2. Annual query section. The system shows you the list of who's due. 3. Before you run the query, you need a general consent for limited queries in hand. A paper form, signed by the driver at hire, stored in the driver file, signed once, valid for the entire employment period. You do not need a separate consent each year. 4. Run the limited query on everyone on the list. 5. If someone comes back records found, a hard clock starts. 24 hours. 2. Pull the driver off the road. Run a full query, with consent. Get the details, and make a decision. A typical scenario where annual saves the company 12 truck fleet. January, the safety runs annuals. 11 drivers, clean. 1. Records found. You dig in. Turns out the driver moonlighted a week at another company in October, got caught on their random, failed, quit, and quietly came back to you. If you hadn't run the annual, he'd have been driving for you in prohibited status until the next audit. And at audit, that's a fine of up to $19,246. 2025 schedule. The amounts are indexed annually for every trip a prohibited driver made. And it's not one line item. It's multiplied by however many loads he ran in those months. That's why annual. 9.7. Query plan, where queries come from. Physically, if there are no queries on your balance, you can't run a request. The database just won't let you. Purchasing: 1. Clearinghouse purchase query plan. 2. Plan size, from 1 to 10,000. The bigger the pack, the lower the per unit cost. 3. Payment: credit card, PayPal, Amazon Pay, check. 4. Queries hit your balance instantly. How many to buy? Working formula. Annual equals number of active drivers times 1. Pre-employment equals projected hires for the year times 1. Buffer equals plus 20%. Example: fleet of 10, planning 5 hires over the year. 10 plus 5 plus 3 buffer equals 18 queries. Buy a pack of 20. Unused queries don't expire. They carry over to the next year. Why? Don't buy queries one at a time as needed. Stock up once a year for the whole fleet. Forget about it. Wasting time on small orders every time is just a dumb hourly leak. 9.8. A driver failed a test. What you do, the situation nobody expects, but that eventually happens at every company. If you're scared, here's the exact sequence. You get a call from the TPA or the clinic. Driver so-and-so, positive drug test. First 5 minutes, pull him off the road. Call, pull into the nearest TA or pilot, park the truck, we're sending a replacement. Not drive to the terminal, not finish the load. Every mile from the moment of positive is a prohibited driver in motion. A fine of up to $19,246 per violation and personal problems for the driver. No compromises. Within 3 business days, log the violation in Clearinghouse. Report a violation section. Type, date, result. Hand the driver SAP contacts. FMCSA requires multiple names to choose from, not one. These are certified specialists who handle return to work. Process suspension or termination per company policy. Most companies terminate. That's legal, and I'm not going to judge anyone for it. Some keep the driver and pay for return to duty if he's valuable. Your call. Document everything in the driver file. Test result, date, notice to driver, SAP list, company decision. Every step with a date. It's scary the first time. The second time, it's just work. Return to duty process. If the driver wants to come back, here's his path. 1. Evaluation with a SAP. 2. Program assigned by the SAP. Education treatment. 3. Follow-up evaluation with the SAP. 4. If the SAP confirms readiness, return to duty test. Observed. 5. Negative result, status flips to not prohibited. 6. Next 12-60 months, follow-up tests on the SAP schedule. The driver pays, or the new company that hires him pays. The old company isn't obligated to pay anything. 9.9. Fines amounts are indexed annually. The order of magnitude is no pre-employment query, up to $19,246 for the company. For the driver, up to $4,812, 2025 schedule. Used a prohibited driver, up to $19,246 per violation, multiplied by number of trips. Failed to report a violation within 3 business days, fine plus CSA hit. No annual query, fine per driver. Company not registered in Clearinghouse, critical audit finding. At a safety audit, especially new entrant, Clearinghouse is in the top 3 sections examined. The inspector pulls the query logs and cross-references them with the driver file. Gaps show up immediately. Checklist. Checklist Clearinghouse under control company. Registered in Clearinghouse. Email is corporate, not personal Gmail. Login, password, backup codes in a password manager. Query plan purchased for the year with 20% buffer. New driver, Clearinghouse account created. Full pre-employment query completed before the driver goes on the road. Consent received. Result in driver file. General consent for limited queries signed and filed in driver file. Annual limited queries run on every active driver. Results in driver file. For every records found, full query within 24 hours, and a decision. Incident. Driver pulled off the road in the first minutes. Violation logged within 3 business days. SAP contacts given to the driver. Everything in driver file with dates. Key takeaway. Chapter 9 takeaway. Clearinghouse is the federal drug and alcohol violations database. Live since January 6, 2020. The company must register, buy a query plan, run queries. Without this, you can't hire anyone. Full pre-employment before every hire. Limited annual, once a year on every active driver. Without driver consent, you won't get a result. That's why registering the driver is part of your job. A prohibited driver on the road equals a fine of up to $19,246 per violation. Pulling him off the road is instant. Return after a failure goes through SAP, plus return to duty test, years of follow-up tests. At a safety audit, Clearinghouse is one of the first things checked. You've got Chapter 9 if you understand what Clearinghouse is and why it was created. You can register a company and a driver. You can distinguish limited and full queries and know when to use each. You know the exact sequence of actions for a positive test or refusal. You can distinguish pre-employment, annual, and return-to-duty queries. You can buy a query plan and size it for the year. You understand the SAP's role and the logic of the return-to-duty process. Clearinghouse is a zero-tolerance zone for mistakes. Forgot pre-employment? A fine of up to $19,246. Sent a prohibited driver on a run? Up to $19,246 per dispatch. 2025 schedule, indexed annually. Plus, Clearinghouse gets autoflow into CSA and drag your rating down for years. Two places where beginners break most often. They skip the January annual query. I'll do it in February, and then February comes and they don't. They let a driver hit the road before the pre-employment result is in. I know this pattern. It costs money. Trucker Navi handles the entire drug and alcohol program turnkey. $150 per driver per year. Company and driver registration in Clearinghouse. Pre-employment, random, post-accident, reasonable suspicion, return to duty, follow-up tests. 30,000 plus locations across the U.S. The driver tests at the nearest center without losing a day. Random testing program with automatic driver selection per FMCSA quotas. Annual queries and a full document package for safety audit. Driver onboarding briefings at hire. 315-871-0833. WhatsApp +1 929 347 4410. TruckerNavi.com. Data at TruckerNavi.com. That was a chapter from Safety Manager, From Zero to Expert, by Dmitry Borovoy, founder of Trucker Navi. The full book is on Amazon. The companion page is at truckernavi.com/en/book.